It is the full-time review on Full Time Devils, your place to have your say on all things Manchester United. My name's Gaz, and I have no doubt that plenty of you guys are going to have quite a lot to say after what was, I don't even know why I'm laughing, a dreadful Manchester derby yesterday for United. Lost 3-1 to City. We're going to get straight into it in a sec. First, let me tell you what's coming up today. We're going to have Mourinho's press conference highlights. That's coming up. Highlights from the fan cams from yesterday as well. Loads of fan reaction. Not much of it positive. None of it positive. And we're going to be hearing what you guys have to say as well on United on YouTube. Loads of clips from you guys to play for you. But first, let's get into it. Let's talk about the game. Need to get it off our chest a little bit, don't we? It was poor all round. Like, I hate saying this, and I didn't think I'd ever use this word when it comes to Manchester City, but I have to, and say that they were a class above us on the pitch in every aspect. You can't start a game in the way we started that game. The first, 15, 20 minutes, where we barely had a sniff of the ball. And we sort of did something similar against Juventus, but they didn't play with any intensity. City definitely did. They were fully going for it in that 15, 20 minutes, and it could have been more than 1-0. Like I say, we totally deserved to lose the game. We started a midfield of Matic, who's been dreadful all season. I don't understand why he's still getting picked week in, week out, why we aren't trying anyone else in there. Fellaini, who you'd probably say has got in there because Paul Pogba was injured. And, you know, maybe makes sense slightly, but to have Fellaini with Nemanja Matic in the midfield and then Ander Herrera playing there as well. I was sort of happy to see Herrera get back in the team beforehand, but it's not a good midfield. It's not a dynamic midfield, and it's not good enough for Manchester United. And we saw it in the first half. We couldn't get the ball to that front three. We couldn't link the defence to the midfield, and we couldn't link the midfield to the attack. And that is sort of what Paul Pogba's job in the team is and has always been throughout his career. So you do think that maybe Paul Pogba would have made a bit of a difference. But like I say, we didn't lose the game because Paul Pogba didn't play. We lost the game because we were nowhere near as good as Manchester City yesterday. It's a massive shame, and it leaves us in a very weird position now this season because obviously, you know, we're Man United, and I never want to come out and say that we should be challenging for the top four. Like, I think that we should be going beyond that. I think every single season United should be starting the season saying we want to win the league. And certainly by November, we shouldn't be saying it's all done and dusted. We were saying it last month. We were saying it a month ago. But it's all done and dusted. We're not winning the league this season, unfortunately. That's never going to happen now. So this season now, all has to be about top four, getting that top four place, and then go back at it again next year. I hate to say it because we're Manchester United. We're one of the most, we're the most well-supported club in the world, one of the biggest clubs in the world in that respect, known worldwide, and we're just challenging for fourth place. Really? Really? It's not good enough for me, guys. I want to know what you have to say, though. Get in the comments below. I'm going to read a few below here. Brian says, City proved you can have class, yet have no class at the same time. I understand what you mean, mate. They're good on the pitch, but they're still a scruffy lot, aren't they? Right, let me see some more comments then. Ryan C says, sack Mourinho. Ryan, I know you're not the only one saying that. I know there's a lot of people would probably want something similar, but do we really think sacking Mourinho now, at this point in November, is going to solve anything halfway through the season? I'm personally not too sure. I think, if anything, that could potentially make things even worse. I think you just give him now for the rest of this season. Unless it becomes mathematically impossible to get top four, then it is a bit like, come on, that's a joke. But even at the end of the season, if we do finish in fourth place, it's not good enough for United, that, and it's not good enough to save your job unless there's a lot of other good things going alongside it, like maybe a good FA Cup run. Hey, you never know. We might have an all right Champions League run. I doubt it, to be honest. Comments, I want to see what more of you guys have to say. Is anyone sticking up for Mourinho like Rybo XBL? He says, Jose only had 2 of his signings started. And I know that is obviously what a lot of people say about Jose. They say, if you're going to hire him, you know what he's like, you've got to back him in the summer. And it could be argued, we definitely did not back him in the summer at all. I've been sort of repeating this point quite a few times, but I do think it's true. I think that the board at United, it's all about commercial signings rather than signings that are actually going to improve the football team. Signings that sell shirts above players that are actually better than the players we've currently got. So like the most marketable defender that I can think of at the moment, probably Rafael Varane, something like that. If he was available in the summer, we would have got him like that. I honestly do think we would have got him like that because he sells shirts. He wasn't, and the other defenders that were available were less fashionable to the board, less of a commercial interest, and that's why we didn't get one. It's a shame, but that's the way the club's run, and that's what worries me for when Mourinho does go. Like, if the next person comes in and we're not going to back them either, then where does that leave us? Going to get a couple more comments from you guys, see what you have to say. Jockey says, the summer was poor. We couldn't even get rid of Darmian. no one would take him, would they? They took one look at his sideburns and they were just like, no, I'm all right, mate. Dystopia says, Fred should have started. I'm a little bit confused about Fred this season, mate. Like when I've seen him, I'm not actually quite sure what he does in the team. However, he would have had a better game than Herrera, wouldn't he? That first half was genuinely something to behold. I don't think I've seen a midfielder have that bad of a first half at Man United, and I've seen Rafael and Fabio start at centre mid. Who else is in there in the comments then? Sam says, do you really think top 4 is still possible? Yeah, of course, mate. Of course it is. Yeah, definitely. I mean, there'd be no reason to say that it is impossible would suggest that. I mean, I don't want to criticise you personally, but it suggests that you've not been watching football that long, mate. Things change and a lot more unlikely things happen than that quite often. A few more comments. Darren says, we'll still struggle to get big names because of how far we have fallen now. Completely disagree, Darren. We came, when we signed Paul Pogba, you know, a lot of people would have said the exact same thing there and would have said that we're nowhere near a pull to sign Paul Pogba. But we did. Romelu Lukaku, another one at the time who was being touted by all the big clubs around, and players that we spent big money on. Nemanja Matic, you could say, another one as well. I don't think we would have got those players if we weren't a pull. I do still think we are definitely a pull. The only thing that will affect us in the summer is, of course, if we don't qualify for the Champions League, because that's understandable. If a player don't want to come, if he's not going to be playing Champions League football, but I think there's still a big chance that we might do that. Deshian says, yeah, 26 games left. Anything is possible. Exactly. To come out and say it's impossible for us to qualify for the Champions League. Yeah, I mean, that's a bit of a silly thing to say. Wayne J says, will we qualify from our Champions League group with our current form? Well, that result against Juventus was absolutely massive for us, mate. It leaves us in a position now where I think it's if we beat Young Boys and draw against Valencia, and we'll be through to the next round. Obviously, we're also seeing what happens in the result against Valencia and Juventus. So we could have qualified by the next game. We're in a very good position in our Champions League group, considering the group that we've got. So let's see how far we can get in it. But I'm not holding high hopes. Last season when we played Sevilla, we started Fellaini. What happened there? More comments. Taper says, mistakes by De Gea, Shaw and Matic. Yeah, I mean, De Gea, I suppose you can let him go a little bit. Luke Shaw, I like that he got back into the team, and I did like how he was playing earlier in the season. I liked that he's the only fullback who plays like an old school fullback at Man United, but he has a defensive error in him, doesn't he? His concentration maybe isn't quite there at times. In a game like yesterday, the Manchester Derby, one of the biggest games in world football, it's when you really need him to be on it, don't you? Right, in a sec, we are going to be looking at Mourinho's press conference, see what he had to say after the game. I'm looking forward to seeing these excuses. Take it away, Jose.
Do you think the scoreline was a fair reflection of how the way the game developed?
You know, if the third goal is scored in one of the moments where they were dominating, I probably would say so. But the third goal comes in a moment where we were in a fight to try to get the equalize.
Jose, you're now as close to Cardiff as you are to Manchester City. Is this effectively the title over?
I think we are not going to be relegated.
I agree. Defensively, was it an
Two questions for the same one?
Jose, does this game underline the difference between a team like Manchester City, who are trying to win the title, and a team like yours that really is going for the top 4?
Now, one thing is they won in the championship. Okay, first match of the season, and analyze since the first match of the season, and the points, they show that one team starts strong and is still strong, and another team didn't start well and is improving a lot. If you focus on the game today, the game was open for 80 something minutes. I think nobody left the stadium before their third goal for sure, because the game was open until then. In a week where Manchester City played at home 3 matches and we played 3 matches away. In a week where they enjoyed 2 6-0, 6-1 victories, relaxed, no pressure, no mental effort, everything nice and easy, and we played 2 matches away, difficult ones, where the second one was like a final for us against one of the best teams in Europe, a game that demanded from us everything we had to give, not just physically but also mentally. So when I analyze the game today, I think the difference was, you can go for stats. That's the way people that don't understand football analyze football, is with stats. I don't go for stats. I go for what I felt and for what I watched in the game. And the game was there until minute 80 something. So I consider the performance of my team a performance with mistakes. Is different than a bad performance. One thing is a bad performance. Another thing is a performance with mistakes. We made mistakes. We were punished by these mistakes. But the performance, the mentality, the togetherness, the belief, the fight until the end was something that we are building, and we are not going to lose that because of a defeat.
Jose, you've conceded 21 goals now this season. Yeah. Does that prove that you did need a centre back in the transfer window?
But I don't think today was the game to touch in that point. I think Victor and Chris, they had a positive performance. A kid that made a mistake for the first goal is playing so well. And last season he was playing 1 match every 3 months, and in this moment he's playing every game for 90 minutes. And when I speak about the physical fatigue, the mental fatigue that leads to sometimes to small injuries, other times to mistakes during the game, that's what I mean. You know, the game against Juventus was hard, very hard, by the physical point of view, by the mental point of view. I am with my players. I am even with the players that today they made the mistakes that lead to Manchester City goals. We are together. We are not going to be affected by this. I'm just sorry that we don't play the next match soon, and we have to wait 15 days for that. But we are improving. We are together, and we go together until the end.
Jose, can you tell us about Paul Pogba, his injury, and how much did you miss him today?
It's not for me to lose the game, and don't like to lose the game and to speak about this player that was the other player that was not. I don't like very much, but it's important for us in many aspects of the game, because if we didn't play, we had to play Fellaini. Fellaini was not ready to play for 90 minutes. I can just imagine when the result was 2-1 to bring a fresh Fellaini to the pitch. I think they would be in big trouble.
Yes, some very interesting points from Jose there. Entertaining as ever. Not really. That point that you made about the fixtures, I don't get where he's coming from with them. He's saying that City had easier fixtures coming into it in the Champions League. It's like we have to play in that competition too, and you know we all have to play the same teams in the league. And also he has a chance to put his money where his mouth is, actually, Mourinho, with what he said there, because our next 4 fixtures: Palace at home, Young Boys at home, Southampton away, and Arsenal at home. By Mourinho's exact logic that he's just used then, we should be breezing those 3 because they're a friendly. And then using the momentum from those 3 easy wins, we should be beating Arsenal because that's exactly what City apparently did to United. It's a load of nonsense, to be honest. I think that any complaints about fixture lists are totally stupid. I remember when it came out that they weren't random and people were kicking off over it. I was like, what? And you thought that they were random? They're obviously not. We all play the same teams. I hate fixture complaints. I think it's a stupid excuse. But it might be Jose Mourinho deflecting a little bit. And once again, classic Mourinho tactic, getting all the tension on him rather than his players. Also, one particular quote in there that we need to get this out, producer Chris. We need to get this quote and we need to make it go viral. Stats are the way that people who don't understand football analyse football. That's Mourinho essentially ending Statman Dave's career there. That's all he's done. We need to send that to Statman Dave. I think he's on holiday at the minute as well. We'll make sure we send that to him and ruin his holiday. Quite a worrying stat there as well about Cardiff, wasn't it? We're now just as far off the top of the league as we are the bottom of the league. Oh, guys. Right, get in your comments. I want to see what you guys have to say about Jose Mourinho's press conference there because obviously he always splits opinion. Super Lad said, when was the last time we won a game 6-0? Exactly. That's why I don't get what Mourinho is saying. He's almost trying to say that City beating Shakhtar 6-0, like that was a friendly game and for some reason it lessens the result. Like, no, we'd probably draw to them. We probably wouldn't be able to beat them. We've not beat teams like that under Mourinho's reign. Anyway, Jaren George says shots at Statman Dave. Yeah, shots from Jose, not shots from me. I quite like Dave's stats. I find them interesting. Matthew says static Matic. Good play on words there. That's exactly the way I'd describe Nemanja Matic, to be honest, mate. Taper says Mu is backing his players. Very interesting. That's one positive slant that you could take from that, I suppose. Jesse James, he came out with a stats sheet though, lad, in that press conference a few weeks ago. Did he, Chris? Mourinho, did he come out with a stats sheet? I don't remember that one. I remember Van Gaal did it a couple of seasons ago, which was funny. A few more comments. Nee says, Jose is ruining our club. Jose needs to be fired ASAP and booked on the next Ryanair flight to Madrid. You mean ruining the club? He's not exactly going to ruin Man United, is he? It's going to take a bit more than a dodgy manager to do that. But over-exaggerating slightly. We're not in a good place right now, but you know, the club isn't ruined. Come on. I saw someone before say that we're the laughing stock of English football, and I'm just like. Imagine supporting a team that have just gone into liquidation or something in the lower leagues and hearing about a Man United fan complaining about being the laughing stock of world football. It's like, get a grip a little bit, guys. Don't get me wrong. We've got a lot to complain about, though. Let's see a couple more comments then from you guys. Abel says that he finished 6th with a better squad, so really one trophy each. I think that's a response to someone else. Let me get one off Facebook as well. Bill says, so what next? New players, new manager, what next? Mate, who knows? Like I was saying yesterday on the Fancams, we're going to check all those clips out in a bit, some Fancam highlights from the Etihad yesterday. And it leaves us in such a weird position because we don't really have a plan now for what we do going forward. And I don't think we have been a club with any sort of philosophy for quite a while now. That's in the transfer market and in actually going for managers. We really need to figure out what our identity is as a club, because the people running things don't know anything about the club, about football. So it's like, I don't know, guys. Maybe I'm over-exaggerating now. Caden says, don't think Jose is all to blame. The players aren't good enough. Yeah, Caden, I agree with that slightly. And the players do need to hold a bit of blame. But I'll be totally honest, I didn't see a lack of desire from United yesterday. I just saw a load of players that weren't playing well enough. They just weren't good enough. City were much better than them for me. But I agree slightly with what you're saying there. However, are you trying to say that we shouldn't be getting more out of those players that we've got? Because we should. We totally should, in my opinion. Chimpu says, we need a coach, not a manager. I don't like to discuss like the next manager while we've still got one who, because he's Man United manager, I'll be singing his name every week because that's what Man United supporters do. But yeah, I can't even remember what your question just was then. But it'll be interesting to see who the next manager is and what the plan is. For me, it just needs to be a manager who has a history of playing good football. That has to be our primary concern for the next manager, our primary criteria going forward, because the last managers that we've had, Mourinho, obviously he didn't have that track record of playing great, attractive football. Van Gaal didn't have that record, neither did David Moyes. We've not actually gone for a manager who's known for playing exciting, attacking, dynamic football. So above all else, I'm including things like experience and in the top leagues and experience in English football. Above all else, their style of football has to come top for me, depending on the next manager we get. Could be Poch, he might not even leave Tottenham for us in the current situation. Personally, I do think he would. Right, I was at the Etihad yesterday chatting to all the fans, loads of Reds with loads of opinions, none of them positive, as you can understand. So, yeah, sorry about this. But all the highlights from the fan cams are here now.
You defend like that, you deserve to be punished, and it's just not right. Like I say, if you don't invest in January, all your dreams of Champions League money for Mr. Scrooge McDuck and the lasers are all gone tits up. I'm being honest. I
know, mate, and I'm not laughing in a ha-ha kind of way. I'm just
Ed Woodward. I mean, I'm glazes. The penny has dropped. Your cash cow's going down the fucking pan, and it's unacceptable.
Well, we're just too slow, aren't we? I mean, they've got some good players. I mean, that Silva, he's off the dial, isn't he? He's so quick. We're just too slow. Our defence, we couldn't catch them. They play good football.
We got outclassed today, outworked today, and outpassed today.
But is the problem that we don't actually have a philosophy at the moment at all? We don't have a style of football.
I think so, because, yeah, you can argue that we'll park the bus, but then what are we going forward? Yeah, we like to...
Mate, we're not parking the bus this season. We've had a terrible defence.
Exactly. I mean, last year we were so good in terms of how many clean sheets we kept. I think David De Gea kept the most in the entire Premier League. But this season, it's just been the exact opposite, and it's really weird to see.
I think it was a tight game at the start. But I think we just lost our rhythm, etc. We got along. So it came 2-1, then 3-1, etc. So I think we got a bit carried away with the win with Juventus, Bournemouth, etc. So I think we're heavily missing Pogba as well. And Lukaku as well. I don't know with him. He needs to literally sort himself out as well.
So. It's just painful to watch sometimes, especially when you go down. You want to see them turn it around, but it's going to be hard. I mean, they're strong teams.
The only probably positive to take out that is maybe Lukaku had a good game after a few weeks. Don't know why we didn't put him on earlier. He made a contribution.
Yeah, a lot of opinions there from a lot of very unhappy Reds. Everyone really saying similar things to what we were all saying, to be honest. Everyone agreeing with each other for once as United fans. City were better, and at the minute, they have a better team than us. It's just a simple fact. Top four is probably the best we can hope for. It's what a lot of people were saying there in the fan cams. And totally, this season, 4th place would be an achievement for the position that we're in now. It's a shame, innit? But that's what we're at. There was a gulf in class, and that's what a lot of people were reiterating in the fan cams, and that is how it felt. A lot of people pointed out the midfield as well. We've mentioned it already. Matic, Fellaini, and Herrera. It's not exactly a dynamic midfield. And then we had that quite almost exciting front three, really, of Rashford, Martial and Lingard, but we couldn't get them the ball. 3 players that are going to run at defenders and are going to put the fear in them a little bit, and we just couldn't get the ball to them because we didn't have midfielders with the ability to do it against a City team that are as good as they are. So, yeah, it's a shame, as I keep saying, but there we go. That's just the position we're in. I'm going to read some of your comments now. We had a comment earlier on from someone saying Andy Tate for manager. I'd back that. It'd be fun to see, wouldn't it? It can't be worse than some of the lot we've had. Paul Crombie says, Sterling started taking the mick at the end. Yeah, I saw this Sterling clip. Sorry, I don't want to praise City players too much, especially after they beat us, but I don't really have any problem with it. Basically, Sterling was doing like keepy-uppers towards the end of the game because they were dominating us. It's the football's a sport that's all about entertainment. That's an entertaining thing to do. Nani did it once against Arsenal. I think it was when we beat them in the FA Cup. I swear it was like 4-0 or something like that. And Nani started doing keepy-uppers around William Gallas. It was like the best thing I'd ever seen. nothing wrong with that. Just a bit of entertainment, bit of showboating. It's all right. Right, a few more comments then from what you guys are saying. Win a Champions League, Blue Boy, then come in this chat. Apparently, there's a City fan in the chat. And there's a great response there from Chimpu. Yeah, exactly. Win a Champions League. They don't even know, they didn't know where Europe was until 2008, mate. So don't worry about it. Emmanuel says, how is not a Moyes? He plays better football, talking about Eddie Howe there. Yeah, I'm not sure, maybe. I know that earlier on I said that it really has to be the top criteria, the actual style of football for the next manager that we get, but you want someone who's played at a slightly higher level than Eddie Howe, really, don't you? But, you know, maybe a manager like Pochettino, who in the past I've said things like, I want to see him win a trophy before he comes to Manchester United. I think we can let that lack of trophy winning experience slide slightly. Someone from a top job, from a top team who's managed at the top, but as a track record of playing good football, that's the man I'd go for next. Nathan says, he's replying to another comment, so I won't read that one. Jimmy says 2008 is a long time. It doesn't feel like it, mate. Glenn says, Arsenal is better than us. Boo the City idiot. Glenn, a bit more positivity than that. It's bad, but it ain't that bad. Stin says, if Mourinho and Guardiola switched clubs, would the difference be the same? That's a very interesting point there. I don't think that Guardiola would get backed in the same way that he has been at Man City, where he's essentially been able to play football manager and sign whatever player he wants, whenever he wants. I remember when they were lacking in fullbacks and they went out and spent 50 million on fullbacks, which was nothing wrong with that. They needed to improve there, and I would have liked us to have done the same thing, but our manager wasn't getting backed in the same way that he was, so it's very hard to judge, to be honest. Modibo says, this stupid board are going to keep Mourinho even if we finish fourth. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen, to be honest, mate. I think there's a very big chance that Mourinho could finish fourth and still get sacked. It happened to Van Gaal when he qualified for the Champions League and still got sacked at the end of it. So it can happen, and you know, we know that the standards at United are higher than that. However, when you're mentioning the board and Jose in the same sentence, and you're more annoyed at Jose than you are the board and what the ownership has done to Manchester United over the last however long it's been, then, you know, I don't know, it just doesn't sit right with me, that. UK says he was good before Bayern. I'm not sure who that's about, what that comment about. TZ said, why did we sign Fred? That's a good point, mate. For many reasons. Fred didn't start yesterday when maybe you would have expected him to play. But Herrera looked okay in the last couple of games that he made in appearances. But when I've seen Fred, I honestly don't know what he does on a football pitch. I do not know what his job is. I watch him and I'm like, I just don't get him. I don't get him. I'm sorry. Maybe you lot who know a little bit more are going to be able to educate me on this, but I just don't think he does enough on a football pitch. It is that simple. Right, we are going to be getting more of your guys' views on camera right now for United on YouTube. Loads of you guys send your clips into us, and producer Chris puts them in.
Different kind of use, he says, guys. I think we just have to accept that we are not the best team in Manchester anymore.
What an embarrassing performance from Manchester United. I'm not happy at all. That was disgraceful out there. How can you go to the Etihad in a derby day and just roll over and get beaten like that? It was disgraceful.
It was a terrible performance by Manchester United today. The team we selected was simply not good enough.
When I saw Matic, Fellaini and no Pogba, I wasn't confident at all. I knew it wasn't going to be our day.
Second half, we got a glimmer of hope after we scored the penalty. I thought maybe we could come back again, but no, we didn't create much after that. We didn't really kick on, and they're just the better team, really. That's it.
I didn't expect to win, but I didn't expect to lose like that. A Manchester derby usually brings the best out of the players, and honestly, Martial was the best of a bad bunch of players, in my opinion.
None of our players stepped up for the derby match. I can't believe that in a derby match someone plays like that. I haven't seen any team playing like that in a derby match.
We were just manhandled in every way. We didn't show near enough balls near the end. We could have shown a bit, but I can't really complain about that, guys, because we got beat.
there was a complete gulf in class between the two sides, which is just completely unbelievable. I mean, we were all over the place. Matic in that midfield again. Stop playing him. He's done. He was the worst player on the pitch.
We were playing with 3 central defensive midfielders. I don't know why Mata didn't start.
And when we did score, we were 2-1. We parked the bus. What? Why? Why would we do that? We got Lukaku. We had Martial. We had Rashford. Attack. Attack, attack, attack.
Hopefully the team can do better. Hopefully the team can get a fit Pogba, can get a fit Lukaku, and put in the right players that we need to win the matches we're expected to win.
It's not really a bad result people are saying it is, because, you know, beat Juventus before, and we've got Crystal Palace next week, so we should be able to win that.
But it all stems from team selection. First of all, I think Matic is not good enough, and Fellaini just wasn't the right choice to play against such a technically gifted midfield.
We're far from the best team now. We've got to come to terms with it. City were far superior. Fair play to them. They beat us. And, yeah, I'm going to bed.
Mourinho's tactics, whatever it is, I would defend Manchester United to the ends of the world, but today just showed how far we have to go to be the champions again and to be the team we know we can be.
We're going to find it hard to get in the top 4, guys. We really are. But he's going to have to accept it.
It's probably a good time to have the international break as well now, so subscribe to Full Time Devils, and nice one.
We got to take a break and really regroup in this international break and come back and smash Crystal Palace, okay? Please stay locked in and subscribe to Full Time Devils.
Keep it locked here on Full Time Devils. See ya.
And that's all from me. I'm just so disappointed in this result, and it takes all the momentum that we had out of the equation. But guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Make sure you stay subscribed to Full Time Devils.
They've even got Hughesy. Even Hughesy's not happy. Oh man, that was maybe the most depressing United on YouTube ever. Not one of them's got a smile on the face, but I mean, it's completely understandable, innit? We're all feeling the same right now. But that was United on YouTube, where we get the thoughts from Man United fans who send in their videos to us from around the world. If you didn't like a couple of the things that those guys said, maybe you're complaining in the comments like a right mad, then why don't you put your money where your mouth is and actually prove that you can do better and prove that you know better? Send us in a video. If not, and you're just moaning in a comment, it's just a bit like, you know, get a life, mate, get a life. But always good to hear from you guys on United on YouTube. It's a nice little extension on from the fan cams. I like it. Right, I'm going to get a couple more comments from you guys before we wrap up today's full-time review. Kevin Cameron says there is no point in spending money in January. This season is done as far as trophies go. Players need to show more, and Jose needs to get more out of them. Yeah, but mate, that 4th place is still so important. And also, the season's definitely not done as far as trophies go. I don't think we're going to win the Champions League. Dude, it's not going to happen. It's not. We're nowhere near good enough. But stranger things have happened. That's all I'm saying. Look, we could get a good run together. Who knows what's going to happen in the Champions League? But yeah, I can't see us getting past quarterfinals, to be honest. And also, we're in the FA Cup. Win that. We win that when we played worse throughout the season, to be honest. So certainly not all over for trophies. Let's see one more comment then. Let's get a couple more in. Alex says, we won't buy anyone in January and we won't make the top 4. Oh, isn't it good to finish the video on a really nice positive comment? Look, guys, it's not great. We're in a really, really bad position now. City showed yesterday that they are a step, a real class above us at the moment on the pitch in what they're doing, the style of football and how they're playing, and the results that they're getting. For me, this season, all about getting 4th place now. And I'm not going to be running around like a maniac if we do it, celebrating. It's just going to be a, well, that was the minimum expectation met. But for me, the minimum expectation this season was to challenge for the title with the amount of time he's had at United. But then again, he's not been backed. And if we give it to someone else, he's not going to get backed, is he? Who knows what's going to happen, guys? Let's just enjoy the ride, shall we? We do have a WhatsApp channel available now, by the way, guys, because I know that a lot of you lot have been mothering us for ages to set up a WhatsApp where you can keep up to date with everything that's happening at Manchester United. You can subscribe to that. The link is below, is it, Chris? It will be. We'll sort something out. It'll be about the Full-Time Devils WhatsApp channel. And I'll catch you next time. Who knows who it's going to be next on the Full-Time Review, but I'll see you soon. My name's Gaz. In a bit. Laters.